Hello, good evening and welcome to Rapid Television News. I am Godwin Amunde. In the headlines, President Tinubu makes more appointments into governing councils of federal institutions. Federal government suspends controversial sale of rice to civil servants. Obasanjo Okonjo-Iweala lead star student Innovate African Confab lineup. Tear gas fired as police clash with protesters in Kenya. Aimby unveils new players Friday. Details of this and more will come to you in the bulletin. Now the news in detail. President Bola Tinubu has appointed new governing councils for two federal institutions. Maritime Academy of Nigeria, Orona Akwa Ibom State, has Kayinde Akinlona as chairman and Shewuma Igeri Doguwa, Samuel Ishechie, Faisal Lawal Halidu as members, while the Nigerian College of Aviation Technology, Zaria, Kaduna State, has Anthony Manzo as chairman and Ngozi Okwoma, Runguwa Abdul Malik, Biodun Taiwo, and Florence Toyi Olorufemi as members. The federal government has announced plans to reverse the merger of federal technical colleges and science schools in the country. This decision was made public by the Minister of Education, Professor Tahir Maman, during a one-day stakeholders meeting on the challenges facing technical colleges. Professor Maman expressed disappointment over the merger, stating that it eroded the gains of establishing technical colleges across the country. He emphasized that technical colleges should be strictly for pupils interested in technical education, while those interested in science programs should attend regular colleges. The minister also noted that the low enrollment of students in technical colleges stressing that these institutions are meant to teach skills that can transform the country. The move to unbundle the merged colleges is seen as a step towards revitalizing technical education in Nigeria. Amnesty International has condemned the raid on the Nigerian Labour Congress NLC headquarters in Abuja by state-backed security operatives. The global right group described the invasion as a brazen attack designed to intimidate the labor union and undermine workers' rights to organize, bargain collectively, and take industrial action. According to the NLC, heavily armed security personnel stormed their head office on Wednesday night, ransacking the bookshop and seizing materials claimed to be used to incite unorganized recent protests. Amnesty International's director in Nigeria, Issa Sanusi, expressed deep concern for the safety of NLC officials and emphasized that trade unions cannot be targeted for their participating activities under international human rights law. Sanusi stressed that Nigeria has an obligation to respect and protect the right of trade unions from abuse. The raid is seen as a sinister and calculated attack on the labor union, and Amnesty International strongly condemns the actions of the security personnel. The incident has raised concerns about the safety of NLC officials and the ability of trade unions to operate freely in the country. The federal government has suspended its plans to sell subsidized 50 kg bags of rice to civil servants for 40,000 naira. The decision was announced in a circular from the Ministry of Special Duties and Intergovernmental Affairs, which withdrew the earlier circular announcing the plan. The initial plan announced by the Minister of Information Idris Mohammed aimed to mitigate the effects of the current food crisis by offering subsidized rice to civil servants in Abuja. However, no reason was given for the withdrawal of the plan, leaving many civil servants who had registered for the subsidized rice in uncertainty. The suspension of the plan has raised questions about the government's efforts to address the food crisis and support civil servants. The government had promised to communicate further details on the matter, but for now, the fate of the subsidized rice initiative remains unclear. Nigeria is facing a growing poverty crisis with over 93 million people living below the poverty line. But one organization is taking action to change that. Action Aid Nigeria has launched a 10-year plan to combat poverty and injustice in the country. Our correspondent Irene Okechukwu tells us more in this report.
There is citizen action to end poverty and injustice to address deepening poverty, inequality, and discrimination in Nigeria. According to Dr. Otive Ibuzo, the Executive Director at the African Center for Leadership, Strategy and Development, the poverty rate in Nigeria is projected to reach 40.7% by the end of the year.
In spite of all our best efforts, poverty is increasing. Scholars have identified the challenges to include, among other things, poor leadership, bad followership, poor strategy for development, lack of credible and effective state and bureaucracy, lack of focus on sectors that will improve the condition of living of citizens, such as education, health, agriculture, and the building of infrastructure.
The plan proposed a well-formulated trust strategy to increase productivity and address the root causes of poverty. Afam Victor Ogene, the chairman of the House Committee on Renewable Energy, commended Action Aid Nigeria for their effort to educate citizens and create an enabling environment for people to know their rights.
Generally speaking, this is a long-term futuristic plan which goes in concord with what Action Aid is known for, helping the citizens get out of poverty through education, through knowing their rights.
Action Aid Nigeria's 10-year plan is a step towards creating a more just and equitable society. With the support of stakeholders, they hope to make a significant impact in the lives of Nigerians. From Abuja, Irene Okechukwu, Rapid TV News.